What is up, everybody? Man, it's been a while. A little bit over a year, probably. But anyway, this is just an update on Schneider and how we've been doing. It's been 2 years and a few weeks, probably. So I have less than a year on the lease. And I gotta say, it's been up and down. In reality, probably more up than down. Most of the downs are probably created by me on home time, things like that. Just planning maybe the wrong load from time to time, but consistent enough. You do have your cancellations that are pretty annoying at times. You'll get stuff that cancels really at the worst possible times, but most of the time you can find something to get you through that's pretty comparable. Only once have I had to reset because there was just nothing for me to book. There was freight, but I'm pretty picky as to where I go and what I do. So it actually worked out pretty much better for me to just reset and then move on after that. That's really it. As far as, like I said, the loads kind of slowed down there a little bit, but they're picking up again, so everything's good with that. And, I don't really know what's going to happen at the end of the lease. I don't know if I'm going to, release it to try to pay it off or just get rid of it. It's like I'm at this weird point where I originally had plans to do that, to go ahead and just release to try to get to the end point, pay it off. Now I don't know, if I really want to do that, or maybe try to get a loan from an outside source just to get out of Schneider Finance's hair altogether. Although my dealings with them have been fairly decent. You got to look at it this way. If you go back and you watch my old videos, you can see in whatever it's been 6.5 years or something like that of driving, I've gone and made some moves in the past. I've gone from company to company, not an exorbitant amount, but enough to have that probably labeled job hopping, I guess you would say. Not that I give a shit, but that's probably what it is. But that being said, even if I look at this from the standpoint of glorified company driver situation where I just get to pick my own freight, but yes, indeed, the costs are mine, I've still been here over 2 years, which is probably the longest I've been anywhere as far as trucking is concerned. I know it's definitely been the longest that I've been in any particular truck. So, something's right. Is there stuff wrong? Yeah, there's stuff wrong, I don't deal with Schneider too much, really, as a whole. If I talk to them once every couple of weeks, that's probably a lot. Sometimes I'll go a lot longer. It's only if there's something really necessary, like if a load cancels or if a load time changes and I'm not going to be able to do the load, or just random things like that. Other than that, 95% of the time, everything they send you is pretty much on point. Your directions are, pretty much on point as far as where the, addresses are and stuff like that. Your pickup numbers are usually on point too. So most of the time, you really don't have anything to say. As long as you're doing the freight where you're just booking your loads and doing your loads, there's really not much contact. So that's pretty much it. But the problem with them is that when you actually do need some help, most of the time they're not going to be there. At least for me, I run a lot of nighttime stuff, or I should say more early morning, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., things like that. And if I do happen to need something, I think there's like 2 people that work in all of Schneider at those times. So, I do choose to work at those times. It's a lot easier for me to drive in and out of bigger areas. It just in general, I like to drive when there's just less people on the road. So it is what it is. I got to deal with that. But overall, in my 2 years plus doing the choice board, and just impressions of everything involved with that, whether it's Schneider Finance, Schneider as a whole, the load board, it's like an 8. out of 10. It has some bad points, but for me, the majority of good points are there. I don't have to tell anybody what I'm doing. For the duration that I'm out, 90% of it, 95% of it is just me doing my thing. Picking up and delivering freight and going home. That's it. The only times I really have to deal with them is, if I need a box, an empty, or if I'm at my last stop and, I pick up an empty and I'm ready to go home, they'll tell me what to do with that empty. Other than that, that's it. The empty situation has gotten marginally better than last year. It was very difficult at times. Although this year so far, I've had to go about 50 miles plus. It was about 60 miles out of route to get an empty one time. Now it was deeper south, I understand, but and they did pay me for that mileage, but it's not even so much the mileage, it was just the time. I didn't really have the time to do that. Working recap will sometimes put that added pressure, and the way you plan, at least the way I plan, it was just a pain in the ass. But it is what it is. I don't have a trailer. I don't pay for these trailers. I got to do what I got to do. So what else? Vaping front. Of course, we got the drag. Vopo drag. I think that's how you actually are supposed to say it. Vopo. But I think a lot of people call it Vupu. I think that's probably what it is, but I prefer Vopo. We'll go with that. It's been good. I mean, it's not that old. It's only a couple weeks old, but it's got a lot of wear on it already. Now, granted, I do vape a lot, but damn. I mean, I know you can see that. Right now, I got on top of it the Firemax. No, that's not what it is. What the hell is it called? Fire Luke by Freemax. And it's pretty good. I'm only running the RTA, part of it, and I just got a couple of. I think there's just some, standard kind of Claptons in there. Nothing really special. Only running 60 watts, 0.19 ohm, and it's pretty good. I like it. It's way bigger than what it needs to be for this mod, but I don't really care about that. I see a lot of people nitpick like, oh, it doesn't fit. It fucking fits. It just overhangs like crazy, but, who the fuck is watching me vape? Nobody. So I don't really give a shit. I still use the TFV8, again, with the rebuildable section on it. I think a couple of fused Claptons are in here. And I still play around with the Cledo 120, or Cledo 120. And there's, I forget what's in here. I think some lower ohmage, or higher ohms Claptons, I think, are in here. But I'm trying to. I've been shying away from getting, the pre-made coils for the specific tanks. Well, number one, I mean, for the Cledo, I think it's harder to get now. The TFV8 may be harder to get now. I don't even know. I haven't tried to get one. These you can get, but in all honesty, the one it only came with one of them, and it kind of sucked. It wasn't that great. The tank itself, I enjoy. Get a little air in here now that the roll-off guy is done. But I don't know, the coil only lasted like 3 or 4 days. It wasn't very impressive. So I just go ahead and rebuild. I got 80 coils off Amazon or something like that. They all work pretty much fine. Only a couple of them are kind of shitty. But bunch of coils and a bunch of cotton bacon, and you're pretty much good to go. You're not really looking for any vape shops to help you out with anything. Also, I've been making my own juice for quite a while now. So I just kind of go with, I have my PG and VG and flavors in the truck, and I just mix them up. I've been vaping on a grape pixie kind of flavor forever. I've also been looking to make it forever, but the recipe that I'm using now is very simple and basic, and it actually tastes halfway decent. So I do plan on, actually when I go home, there should be some flavors waiting for me. So I'm going to mix them up a little bit, try a little different stuff. That's what I do from time to time, just find different ideas and go with them, and try to mix up different stuff here and there. But I find that it's just the only way to go. I mean, for me, I don't know what this guy's doing. We're getting unloaded here, but he's doing whatever. For me, You know, first of all, juice is too expensive. These tanks will drink your juice. I mean, even at 60 watts, if I started vaping this by the end of the video, it'd be empty. So, I mean, you know, what are you going to do? I honestly don't know how drivers are out here buying juice. Maybe they're finding vape shops, but even still, you know, premium juice that you're going to see at the vape stores that I was seeing for this particular flavor was up to like $27 for a 60. I can go through a 60, you know, in a couple of days. Like, this one's almost empty. These are 60 ml bottles. This one's almost empty. You know, but now, you know, you buy your VG, I buy like a quart at a time, and the flavorings, I mean, shit, you know. You go through, you know, quart is, I don't even know how many mils it is. It's a whole lot of mils. So, anyway, make your own juice. I think it's probably the only way to do it, at least the best way to do it, and it is by far the cheapest way to do it. I haven't bought store juice in a very long time, it seems, so I'm pretty pleased with that. And that's pretty much it. You know, I got another less than a year to go. And like I said, you know, I'd love to hear from somebody who has been to this point, you know, this crossroads where, you know, you got to decide what you want to do next. I really don't think I want to get into a new truck. Do I want to get a new truck? Everybody wants to get a new truck. You know, I just watched a little guy in his video with his new Volvo, and my God, it's fucking beautiful. You know, I mean, what can you say? You can't deny that the truck is gorgeous. His decals even look halfway decent to me. I'm not a, you know, I don't hate on them. I think they look pretty stylish. But the truck itself, I mean, damn. But see, now the problem that I'm running into is, all right, I look at how much I've already paid into this stupid truck, and you know, it's like, do I want to start all over? I mean, he was throwing out, see, now this is what I don't understand about his video and what he said. He's paying $800 a week plus the $6K he put down for 5 years. That's like over 200. It's 200 and something $1,000, like 215 or something like that. Man, I don't think I could go back to that kind of a starting point. I think I started out with, what was this truck? 100 and, I want to say it was like 140. I don't even remember. And I could tell you, you know, in terms of value, it was pretty close to that amount. He said his truck spec'd out at 160. They're charging him a lot of damn money on interest for that truck. If his math is correct, his numbers that he said were correct. This truck, I'm only like a few thousand off. So, I mean, as far as that is concerned, I really, you could have gotten a better deal maybe at a dealership. You know, for me, I put nothing down. I was good enough. Good enough, good to go. Just start running, do your thing. But like I said, at the end of this year, or I should say probably about 11 months that I have left, you know, I see, all right, I owe $47,000 on the truck. Do I really want to start over? And I see guys in new, you know, even premium trucks and this and that, and yeah, they're nice. There's no question about it. This is a basic Cascadia. There's nothing special. There's no options. I mean, it's just a regular fleet kind of spec truck. But it does the job, you know. And do I want to get into something where, and that's the thing, like at the end of the 3 years, I will have enough equity in the truck where they could say, all right, well, you owe 47, but we're going to, you know, buy it, or, you know, even, so you could send it in, or you can use your maintenance money or this and that and put it down on a premium truck. I just don't want to be in the position where I'm just leasing over and over and over and over again. To me, I don't really, it doesn't really comply. So I think what I might end up doing is one of two things. It's not going to be a lease upgrade. I'm not going to go into a brand new anything. As much as I want to, I'm just not going to do it. I don't see the sense in starting over on something. So I think it's going to be either just forget the whole shit and just move on, do something else, go back to company, which I don't really think I want to do. Maybe just get out of the industry, get out of driving altogether. maybe stay within the industry, maybe do something else, but driving as a whole, just forget it. Get out of the truck, which is a possibility. Or it'll be releasing with Schneider for like 2 more years and just pay it off. But I need to get into a position where I can pay less than what I'm paying now. I don't pay a ton, but $706 a week, is what it is. I'd rather be in a position where it's a little bit less than that. So if it's determined, maybe I'll get my own finance in 3 years for the $47,000, but at such a lower payment that when I do have a good month or week, throw some extra on it. So I don't know. It's just a lot of shit going through my brain. If anybody is watching this who has been to this point, feel free to hit me up, or at least write down in the comments what you guys did to get your titles. I'm gonna talk to my finance guy and see, what kind of options we have, what we might end up doing. Stuff like that, because he's not coming at me with the whole let's early upgrade into some brand. And even if he did, I don't think he can tempt me enough to make that move. It's just not. I know my truck, I get it serviced 20,000 miles, 25,000 miles max, and I have since day one. Like I said, I'm selective with the freight that I haul. I'm selective about where I go. I try not to beat it up. I try to drive. I average 7.8 miles a gallon, pretty steady the whole time I've been in this truck. My idle time is pretty good. I do have an idle-free unit, which is pretty shit. But if I do idle, it's during the day when it's pretty hot. Right now, it's starting to get a little bit warmer. If I'm in Texas and stuff like that, it was getting a lot warmer. So yeah, during the day, I do have some idle time, but nighttime, 90% of the time it's off, and the idle free works good enough for me. So, it doesn't have a ton of idle time on it. So it's kind of like it's a decent unit. Do I want to just give it back and just kind of? It's not to say that I, erase all the money that I put into it, because I'm using it and I'm making money with it. But it's just that feeling of so close to being to the point where you don't have a payment. And that's kind of the feeling I want to experience. I want to be in a position where I can actually say, I am an owner-operator. Still leased on with somebody, of course. I don't really plan on ever running my own authority. I just, I don't need that shit. That's for some people, and that's fine. To me, I'd rather be leased on, pull my loads, get paid every week from them, not have to worry about, factoring or having companies that, I pay on a 30 or 60 day. Just leave me alone, let me do my job. But to not have a payment, I think that would be quite amazing. So maybe we'll see if we can get to that kind of finish line. I don't really know. I just can't see starting over. Damn, that to me is just not in the cards. But yeah, the drag is pretty good. As much as I don't like the fading away of it, which is pretty weak, it is a strong mod. And this tank is pretty good too, so, it doesn't quite fit. But like I said, if you don't really care about that, then it's still a good unit. Coming from, oh my God, fuck, I was vaping, oh my God, I don't know if you look at my old videos, probably Egos and IGO W and stuff, so to me this, of course, anything is amazing nowadays in the vaping scene. It's ridiculous. So anyway, that's pretty much all I gotta really say. It's gonna take these guys probably, I don't even know, 2 hours, 3 hours to unload this stuff. It's just a bunch of, I guess, defective equipment or stuff like that from a major store that they're gonna unload and destroy or resell, or I don't even know what the fuck they're doing with it. But It's all on the floor. I had no idea what was in here. I went and picked it up. It was sealed in Dallas, and I'm over here in Atlanta. And I opened the doors, and it's like on one side it's just like this wicker couch thing. It's just standing up on the floor. The other side is dresser, like half falling over on a fucking lawnmower. I mean, it's there's a whole bunch of shit on the floor, and it's gonna take them a while to unload it. So, no, my next load don't pick up until tomorrow, and that one's going straight home. And I had a feeling it was gonna take a while, so that's kind of why I booked like that. I didn't want to really rush myself, and so whenever I'm done here, I'm just gonna go head down to a truck stop or something like that. I'll call and probably see if it's ready, but most likely won't be ready that early. And just kind of chill, grab my load tomorrow, take it home, go home, spend a couple of days at home, and go from there. But that's it really. So that's the update. Everything is still rolling. I'm still alive. I'm still with Schneider, which is some kind of fucking miracle because, like I said, for me to still be here, that's an accomplishment just for me. And it doesn't sound like much, a little over 2 years, but, you look where I was at, Rail, Raven, I think back to Rail. I don't know. I went back and forth a little bit there. And, so basically driving for myself, picking my own freight and doing all of that stuff is what keeps me around. The Schneider end of it is really not that much of a factor, until the day where I have no freight on the board and there's nothing for me to book. Then I guess I'll just be here, or the truck is gone or whatever happens at the end of this lease. So that's it. That's all I got. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know, if you've been in this kind of situation, what you did with your truck. If you continued on the path, how you continued on the path to owning the truck. And, that's it. Hope to update again soon. And maybe not, in another year, but we'll see. Peace out for now, guys. Thanks for watching.